The galaxy had known peace for centuries, at least for most of the sentient races. The Great Wars were a distant memory, with alliances between species maintaining the delicate balance of power. The Earth was no exception. Humanity, once a young and chaotic species, had long since united under the banner of the United Earth Government, UEG. They had moved from one corner of the galaxy to another, forming trade routes and diplomatic ties with distant civilizations. However, all that changed when a new and mysterious fleet appeared on the outer edges of the Alpha 9 system. The fleet, composed of old, rusted ships, came out of nowhere. Their hulls were scratched, their engines sputtering. No one could figure out who the ships belonged to, and the aliens were quick to dismiss them. The nearby races, accustomed to high-tech and sleek vessels, couldn't help but laugh at the sight of such a pathetic fleet. "You call this a threat?" A Veloxian commander scoffed, his reptilian eyes scanning the old ships on the observation screen. "A fleet of relics. This is a joke." "Maybe they're a lost fleet of humans from the pre-unification days," said a Lothian general, snickering. "We should send them a care package." The fleet remained silent, its ships hanging on the edge of the system like ghosts from a forgotten war. They were unarmed, or so it seemed, and their lack of advanced technology made them a subject of ridicule. Some races had even sent drones to investigate, but the ships remained dormant, unmoving in their space, as if waiting. The Council of Species, a collective of the galaxy's most powerful civilizations, gathered to discuss what to do about this strange fleet. No one could understand who was behind it or why it had shown up. The consensus was clear: it was not a threat. The aliens believed it was nothing more than a relic of a bygone era, a long-forgotten fleet of humans who were too weak to pose any real danger. But they were wrong. On the 15th day after the fleet's arrival, something changed. The ancient ships, long silent, suddenly began to stir. A low hum filled the vacuum of space. Slowly, their engines roared to life. The strange, outdated warships began to move, their massive forms gliding through the stars as though they had never been dormant at all. "Impossible!" shouted a Lorvian tactician as he stared at the screen. "How can they power those ships? They should have long since run out of energy." The ship's engines flared, sending out an intense burst of light as they accelerated. Despite their old age, the human ships were faster than anyone had anticipated. As they moved, their rusty hulls seemed to shine in the distant light of the nearby star. The fleet turned, heading straight toward the Council's meeting space, where the alien representatives were watching the events unfold. The first ship, a massive dreadnought named Indomitable, broke through the darkness, its hull creaking and groaning under the strain of its engines. It was a relic, but it wasn't as weak as the aliens had thought. The other ships in the fleet followed, each one more imposing than the last. "What are they doing?" the Veloxian commander muttered, watching in disbelief. "They can't possibly think they stand a chance against our forces." The fleet's trajectory was clear. They weren't going to stop until they reached the heart of the Council. The alien races had underestimated humanity for the last time. The first shots fired were the sound of history awakening. The old ships, using weapons long forgotten by the galaxy, unleashed hell upon the unsuspecting alien forces. Plasma bolts ripped through the air, and ancient railbends fired with devastating precision, tearing through the advanced shields of the alien ships with ease. Retaliate? Now. The Lothian general screamed as explosions rocked the battlefield, but it was too late. The human fleet had already outmaneuvered their enemies, cutting through the alien lines with terrifying efficiency. One by one, the alien ships fell, their technology unable to keep up with the sheer ferocity of humanity's warships. The Indomitable led the charge, its heavy cannons blasting apart enemy warships with each shot. Despite the alien forces having far superior technology, the humans had something they didn't: determination. The old ships were relics, yes, but they were built with the best of human engineering, capable of withstanding extreme punishment and delivering devastating returns. The Council of Species watched in shock as the humans' ancient fleet tore through their forces, proving the one thing they had all forgotten: humanity had never been weak. They had been underestimated, but they would no longer stand in the shadows of others. Their warships, though old, had been built with the strength of human will. The alien races, stunned by the ferocity and unpredictability of the human fleet, began to retreat. The Relic fleet's roar was unstoppable, and the human warships showed no signs of slowing down. Finally, the remaining alien ships, battered and broken, fled the battlefield. The humans had won, not because they had the best technology, but because they had the one thing no one else did, an unbreakable will to survive. The Council of Species would never laugh at humanity again. The Relic fleet, once thought to be nothing more than an old relic, had proven the human spirit could never be defeated. And as the last alien ships disappeared into the void, the fleet of old human warships stood victorious, silent and strong in the stars, waiting for whatever would come next.